There's a story told now of a Breslover leader in this generation. That it's a funny story, but it's amazing. It just shows you to the extent we have to be careful. That this elder was invited once by one of the chief judges here in Jerusalem. It's called the Gaivid. The Gaivid is the chief rabbinical judge of the High Supreme Rabbinical Council in Yerushalayim, known as the Badatz Eda Charedit. And this story goes about probably 40 years ago, 30 to 40 years ago. And this Breslov elder was invited to eat a meal by this Gaivid, this leading rabbi in the world. And as soon as this Breslov leader walked in, the Gaivid, the chief rabbi, stood up in honor of him, that's a big honor. So this Breslov rabbi, what happened was that afterwards, when they got up. It was a Shabbat meal, obviously. There's kiddush, and then there's the washing of the hands. When it came to washing the hands, the Gaivid, of course, washed first because he's the chief rabbi. So he washed his hands, and you have a bazin, and you have the cup, the keli, and you wash your hands into the bazin. This Breslover rabbi, what did he do? That he washed his hands, but he made sure to wash his hands onto his shirt and onto his pants, so all the water fell on to him and not into the bazin, and it was a big mess on him. And after that happened, no one said anything, and the Gaivid ceased to give this Breslov rabbi the honor that he was giving him beforehand. And it's obvious that this Breslov rabbi, he did this because he could not stand the honor being given to him. It was like a knife piercing into his heart. He couldn't handle it, so he had to do this action which would bring him totally out of it, and to the opposite direction, even to get out of this totally. This is in line with a Breslov tradition that has been going on for the past 200 years, that all of the Breslov leaders, they shunned totally any drop of honor and what's the word in English, where there's like an emphasis on them as being somebody big and everything. For the past generations, this has always been an emphasis. Everyone knows that Pirsum, in Yiddish they say like this, Pirsum is gewein tcheif porsum, that Pirsum, being a mefursam, being acknowledged and famous and full of fame and honor because of it, is not kosher. It's forbidden. Because Rebbe Nachman, he said, I've imbued into my followers such a sense of humility that they cannot be leaders. They can't work to be a famous individual. Which means, by the way, that if you do see in the Breslov movement big shots and big people getting honor, so it becomes questionable their validity if they are a true representative of Rebbe Nachman and his teachings, or a representative of themselves and their own perspective and ideals based on Rebbe Nachman's teachings. But the bottom line is that this has been the way of the Breslov movement, to shun any trace of honor totally, to go to the opposite side of the road totally, to go 180 degrees opposite direction, and to run away from any drop of honor. And this also, again, because Rebbe Nachman has infused in his teachings and in his following, if now you become committed to following his teachings, you are filled with a sense of awareness, a drop of awareness of your true sense, your true level, that you feel so ashamed of yourself because you have a glimpse in your own eyes of who you really are, and you can't handle any drop of honor because it's painful. You know who you really are. You feel very low, very far from Hashem on one hand. This doesn't go, by the way, against Rebbe Nachman's teachings to find the good points and to be happy. We're talking about here not fooling yourself, to be emisdik, to be real with yourself, and not to take any false honor and pride and taking in respect that's undue based on your awareness of your true level. That's what we're talking about here. So again, Rebbe Nachman has imbued such a level of of an awareness of a person's level, his true level, or a taste of it, that a person shuns any trace of honor totally. And this is best expressed in this funny story of this Breslover who poured the water after of doing the tila on his shirt and his pants, so that he should not get the honor that was coming his way.